So I went ahead and pulled out that thermostat because I saw that when I was sitting still, it would heat up a lot. And when I was driving like on the highway, it would cool down quite a bit. My two guesses as to what was wrong was that A, the thermostat was either stuck open or was bypassed somehow. And then B, I already knew that the coolant level was low, so my guess was that it was heating up too much when it was sitting still because the water pump wasn't kind of pushing past that air bubble somewhere in the system. So I'm going to top it off. I had an issue after reinstalling this that it was leaking past that gasket, so I just threw some gasket sealer on there and hopefully that'll do the trick. Welcome back to the Starship. So this is the first time I've had it started in several days. Fired up, no problems. And check this out. Look at that, pegged right at 190. Perfect. So looks like the thermostat's doing its job finally. However, I am beginning to see the downside of parking in a mud pit, and that's that when it rains, it becomes very muddy. So I can't get it out right now, and I was going to go buy some plywood to put in the walls, but that'll have to wait till it dries up a bit more. Well, I'm out here in the middle of the night like I usually am, and I've started looking at the wiring, and I kind of figured out what I wanted to do. So there's several circuits in this Starcraft, and let's see if you can see most of them there. So you've got the air conditioner, the converter, which I think, again, I don't know if you know this, but I am not at all familiar with RVs. I think that's the battery charger for either the drive battery, which I doubt, or the coach battery, which is not currently installed. And then the main, obviously in the middle, and then the hot water heater, which is currently uninstalled, and then the outlets. So the thing that I'm changing up is where the AC is. See, originally it was up there on the roof. Now it's going to be right here. So because of that, there's actually already an outlet that was in that spot, but it was on the outlets breaker, which is limited to 20 amps. However, since I'm planning to get about a 5,000 BTU AC, that ends up pulling right around 15 amps. So I wouldn't have much room for anything on top of it. So what I'm going to do is rewire what was on this breaker over to there, and then use the outlet plugs there to install a couple new ones that were not in the original vehicle. So I've already got some 12 gauge wire, which was way harder to run than I thought it would be, primarily due to the fact that there's a ledge behind this, and it took me a solid 30 minutes of trying to get this wire through here, but managed to do it and didn't strip off the insulation, so I feel happy about that. Well, let's see if I can't wire myself an outlet. Not an electrician, but I can probably figure it out. One outlet ready to go back in. Let's tighten her up. All right, everybody, bear with the very obvious fire hazard here. None of these are actually live. They look very scary. They're not live. Breakers are off. But I'm not going to get particularly close to them. So this light is running off of the new cable that I put in, which I traced by hand. Got all wired into the breaker box here. I also traced the main line all the way back to the shore power outlet that I'm plugged into currently. And everything's a-okay. This is really exciting. So I'm going to tidy up some of the electrics here and then go home, and hopefully I won't be dragging the extension cord through the old hole for the shower drain anymore. Whew, that feels good. Here's an update for you after 2 a.m. We have not just the one, but we have another outlet, another one, and finally one over there, which should all be active. So I'm testing it with a drill. Good deal. All right. We've got it. Wow. Well, I am off to get me some parts. Let's go get some plywood to build up the walls. All loaded up, along with one experimental sheet that I'm gonna see if I can do something with. But let's bring her back and see what we can get done. Well, since the weather's working for me today, I'm gonna start taking some measurements and see if we can't get some of these wall and ceiling panels cut out. Just so you're aware, carpentry is my least favorite thing to do. And I'm bad at it. Well, that's 4 out of 12. I rough fit them inside. They look pretty good. They might need a little extra trimming, but that's okay. We'll see how much more I can get done while I still got a little bit of light out. I might even go into the dark a little bit if I pull out my spotlight. As you can see, we have some new parts. So we've got 4 out of the 8 total wall panels installed. They're just roughed in right now, not exactly final, but they are bolted down. Obviously this side's still totally bare, but at least I know what I'm doing now. And still have the ceiling to do, as well as the transitions between the ceilings and the walls. So yeah. Get her fitted up again. Much better. Let's get our holes drilled. that's about it. So obviously there's some other places that I'll probably put screws in, but I'm trying to get everything roughed in for now. And this is sturdy, not going to move, and it's clean. I really hate breathing this insulation crap. I mean, it doesn't look super poisonous, but you know. Stop buying all the dust masks, please. Check it out, folks. We've got all 8 wall panels in. They don't look absolutely perfect, but they're clean, which is a lot more than I can say about the insulation that was behind them. But for now, I'm tired. I've got to go to sleep. Hey everybody, welcome back to the spaceship. Went ahead and picked up this cheap window AC. It's in pretty good shape, and started modifying this to fit it. The back of it fits perfectly in this little area here, and we'll be able to use the AC outlet on the correct breaker right there. So basically what I got to do is build a surround that'll kind of act like a window for this, for the front, and then build a box around it. But also what's really important is that I have to build an air intake for the condenser, because the condenser, which is on the back of the AC unit, has to run air through it to dissipate a lot of heat and then push all that hot air outside. But you do not want to do that with your cold RV air. So probably what I'm going to do is open up some holes right below it, build kind of a plenum, and then have it exhaust that air out the back. Let's get to it. Alrighty, we're getting there. You can see that I've built the box this is going to go in. Has plenty of space for this plenum here. Hey, now that doesn't look half bad. Fits right in there. I'll just pack that gap a little bit later. Lines up right with the walls. It's not cut perfectly right now. Clean it up a little bit before final install, but that is pretty close. Got my condenser port cut out of the floor, although I'm gonna have to put a filter on it at some point. Got some spots to drill the sidewalls of this box into, so get her installed. All right, let's put some final parts in. And that is basically what we got. Again, got to put a little bit of insulation down in there, seal up some holes, build a top for this, and put a filter on the air intake. But that's pretty much a wrap. Let's check to see if she gets power correctly. Ah, started right up. The nice part about this one is it has a set temperature, which is going to make it a little bit easier on my solar array after we get that all installed, but that's a little down the road. Well, it's cold. Got our bug screen on. Now just to find some insulation to pack this up.